Hi there, everyone. Welcome again to Indian Story Read Along. Today's story is going to be from Chandamama. Chandamama was a kids publication um, way before the 2000s. I forgot when they went out of publication. They stopped somewhere like in, I don't know, 2010, maybe before that. I'm not sure. But I still have a lot of these old copies, and they have so many awesome stories in them. And some of them are really funny, like this one. This is called Muthayya and His Master. If you guys have read Tinkle stories and you are familiar with Suppandi, like the servant who is so he doesn't have any common sense, but he's hilarious and he's so innocent at the same time. This is a lot like that. It's a kind of like a Supandi story, but this is called Muthayya and His Master. This is from the January 1992 edition of Chandamama. So some of the things I say are kind of out of date. This happened not long ago when no postal system as we know of today existed. Already out of date. So it's a post office story, but people had to go there to get their post. They couldn't have it delivered to their house. People who expected letters would either go to the post offices themselves or send someone to collect them on their behalf. They were also days when postage stamps had not been introduced, so addressees paid the required charges when they collected their letters. And for that matter, there were no regular post offices too. The authorities used to entrust the work of accepting and distributing letters to someone in the town, like a trader to whom people went for their daily needs. Of course, for such work done, he would be paid a commission. So what they're saying is that any regular shop owner who had a very popular shop, lots of people would be coming there, they would add a post office in there and be like, you, shop owner, you're also going to deal with giving people their mail. All right? And then you get paid for it. Us, the government, local government, will also pay you. So Muthayya was a prosperous businessman who stayed in his farmhouse away from the city. He had agents working for him in several towns, and he used to receive messages from them often. It was the duty of his clerk, Nagaya, to go to Deva Gaundar's shop in the town, which was also the post office, if we may call it so, for the entire area every day to inquire if there were any letters for Deva. So Muthayya is the businessman, Nagaya is his clerk, Deva Gaundar is the shop owner. One day, Nagaya did not go for work as he was ill. When he did not turn up even the next day, Deva became anxious as he was expecting some message from one of his agents. So he called his servant Muthayya and said, go to Gaundar's shop in the town and find out if there is a letter for me. Now, Muthayya was a nitwit. This is where the fun begins. He is not very bright. Muthayya did not understand why a shopkeeper should keep letters besides groceries. Maybe he's from the future. I don't know. He took a long time walking the whole distance, and by the time he reached the shop, he was slightly impatient. He found two women waiting at the grocery section for the shopkeeper to attend to them, while Gaundar himself was holding a pile of letters in one hand and reading out the addresses, turning them one after another. I want a letter, sir, if you please, Muthayya blurted out. Deva Gaundar looked up and asked, who do you want it for? Muthayya, who was expecting the shopkeeper to just hand him one of the letters from the pile, did not very much relish that question. How does that concern you, sir? The instructions given to me are to come here and fetch a letter. As simple as that. I see. Now Gaundar became curious. Who gave you such instructions? It's like talking to a 5-year-old. My master, said Muthayya authoritatively. Here's the thing. I'm not going to make fun of Muthayya for being not too bright. I find fault with him for being arrogant and going in there, interrupting, being disorderly, and bossing around the shop owner when he has no idea what's going on. My master, said Muthayya authoritatively. And who, may I know, is your master? Asked Gaundar, turning his attention again to the addresses on the letters. I like how Gaundar is very He's like so cool. He's like, you know what, man, this is just another Tuesday for me. I deal with guys like you all the time. Just come on, just tell me the name. I'll give you the letter. You can get out. He is very, very relaxed. He's not getting agitated at all yet. So, so should you be concerned with that also, sir? Says Muthayya, still impatiently but politely. He doesn't want to tell him his master's name. Look here, you stupid fellow, says Gonda, taking time so as to make himself understood by the youngster. Unless you tell me his name, how can I give you a letter for him? Your master must be as great a fool as you to send you as his messenger. Muthayya did not like the way the shopkeeper called his master a fool, though he did not realize that the man had paired him with the master also being a fool. There he is. So Muthayya is kind of a kid, all right? So like he seems like he's a teenager. He may not even be able to read, okay? So I want to try to be kind to him, give him the benefit of the doubt. But you just can't go into a store and start bossing people around. It's all right that you spoke of him only to me. If it reaches my master Muthayya Ramalinga Devar's ears, see, he just spilled his name, you would have had it from him. May God help you, sir. Look, there he is, telling him off. Oh, so you're Devar's servant, aren't you? Gonda exclaimed with some relief. Finally, I got a name. But I've never seen you before. You may not see me here again if I've the option, retorted Muthayya. I can't give you any letter for Devar unless I know for certain that you're his servant. Is there anybody in the town who knows you? Gonda prompted the now bewildered Muthayya. So like there's no ID back then, right? He can't show him he could maybe given him a letter and he could have shown that to Gonda saying, this is my agent, can you give it to him? No. There's nothing like that. He's just very cash. He's looking around the shop and he's like, anyone know this guy? Plenty, says Muthayya confidently. Before he could think of somebody, a gentleman who recognized Muthayya entered the shop. How's your master, Muthayya? He asked the youth. I haven't seen him for days. Please tell him that I inquired after him. Without waiting for an answer from the boy, he turned to the shopkeeper. Have you a letter for me, Gonda? Yes, sir, said Gonda, pulling out a long envelope from the pile before him. That'll be half a rupee, sir. Half a rupee, can you imagine? Like that's not even a cent. Anyway, the man paid him the coin and picked up the letter left the shop. Here's a letter for your master, said Gonda, pulling out a smaller cover and placing it on the counter. You have to pay me a rupee. So that's enough for Gonda. He's like, okay, so this guy came in, he recognizes him. He didn't even say, how is your master Muthayya Devar? He didn't say that. He just said, hey, Muthayya, how's your master? And then Muthayya was like in the clear. But let's see what happens now. So Muthayya says, that's unfair, sir. When he says you have to pay me a rupee, that's unfair. Didn't I see you give a long one to Suppandi-like? Ugh, I've never seen that word. Suppandi-like and ask for only half a rupee? You're asking for a whole rupee for this small one? Do you think I'm a fool? He thinks it's like vegetables or some other good. It's not like that with a letter. I say, do you think I'm a fool? And then Gonda's like, I'm sure of it. So he simply said, I'm sure of it. Placing back the letter in the pile, he went up to where the women had been waiting for him. Muthayya watched him weigh and pack whatever the women asked for, and that took a long time. After they had left, Gonda went back to Muthayya. I told you to give me a rupee for the letter. You may go and tell your master. By now, Muthayya realized he would not get common justice for his master. Crestfallen, he left the shop and retraced the steps to the farmhouse where Devar was anxiously waiting for him. So there were no letters for me, isn't it? There was one, sir, said Muthayya slowly, but he wouldn't give it to me. Who wouldn't give it to you, Muthayya? Devar sought a clarification. That man at the shop. He wants to charge double for it, explained Muthayya. Double? Maybe it has double weight. Anyway, why didn't you just pay the amount and take the letter? Devar was now getting cross with him. Sir, how can I allow you to be cheated? There he is. There's Devar, and then there's Muthayya trying to argue his case. How can I allow you to be cheated? He gave a long one to Subbana Mudalayar and took only half a rupee. And for a smaller envelope, he asks for a full rupee? Would you expect me to pay that much without consulting you? Explained Muthayya as best as he could. You fool! David was really furious. Go back and fetch me that letter. And mind you, don't take another half day to come back. I'll murder you. Just as instructed, Muthayya ran non-stop to the town and entered Gaunda's shop come post office breathless. I've come for that letter. Can't you see I'm attending to others? Gaunda rebuked him. But my master is in a hurry. Muthayya sounded as if he too was equally in a hurry. Let him wait till his hurry is over, said Gaunda, still busy packing things and counting the money given to him by a customer. He'll murder me if I'm not back soon, said Muthayya pleadingly. I'm happy to hear that, said Gaunda provokingly. Gaunda has the best zingers in this whole story, now enjoying his conversation with the youth. Gaunda is just bored being a shop owner all day and he wants some drama. Muthayya suddenly noticed the pile of letters on the counter. So here we go. There's a picture down there. Muthayya suddenly noticed the pile of letters on the counter. He waited for the shopkeeper to turn his back and go near the shelves when he picked 2 letters and stuck them into his trouser pocket. Just random, he just stole someone's mail. The last customer having left the shop, Gaunda now came to the counter, collected a rupee from Muthayya, and handed him the letter for Devar. He did not see the mischievous smile on Muthayya's face as he ran out of the shop. On reaching home, he placed all the 3 letters in front of his master. There, I brought enough for your money's worth. Mudra Malinga Devar ran his eyes over the addresses on the envelopes and held up 2 of them for Muthayya to see. But these 2 are not mine, shouted his horrified master. They're yours now, sir, said Muthayya unruffled. You paid for them. I love it. As I said, totally a Suppandi story. Like any kid who doesn't understand how mail works, like my kid would be like this too. It'd be like, you're getting ripped off. That guy has a huge letter and it's half a rupee. You have a tiny letter and they don't understand it's by weight and size and a whole bunch of other calculations. They're just like, okay, look, more is more. I'm getting you bang for your buck. So here's 2 random bonus letters. Anyway, I love stories like this, and we read a lot of these kind of stories on Indian Story Read Along. So if you want to join us here again for more like this, please do. We will see you again next time.